Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's third day in January of 24. Um, I've re- I've recently been motivated to do more writing, particularly about three subjects: personal growth and development, horses, and art. A lot of people that are into horses, if they're going to be really honest with themselves, also have to be on a personal growth and development pathway. Otherwise, they are unlikely to be successful. And a lot of people that are horse people are also into dogs or fish or painting, art of some sort. I've always been one of those individuals who wanted to learn, have always been like that. I'm also one of those individuals that loves the word why. How does that work? Why does this happen? How come it's like this? Can you explain that to me? I don't want you to tell me what to do. I want you to explain why it needs to be done that way. So I recently decided to start journaling and just picking a priority for the day and going with that. But then over the New Year's weekend, I had occasion to meet a lovely lady. She came to see my art, but I noticed while she was here that she was in a certain amount of pain. And so we were talking about our art. She's a fiber artist, does some beautiful, amazing work. And I noticed that she was in pain. I made a cup of tea, and she was holding it against her neck, and I thought, this woman's in pain. So I went and got my vibrator. I have a Body Workers vibrator, a very nice one. And I plugged it in, and I gave it to her. And so because those vibrators are quite heavy and they can be awkward to use on yourself. So I got up to help her with this vibrator. Anyway, and then I said, this is crazy. I said, let me just set up my massage table and I'll do some work on you. So that's where it started. But her sister is a horse person. Her sister's also in pain. So one thing evolves to another thing, and now I'm being invited to possibly go and do some body workshop things and possibly horse things. So then I thought, I made a post on my Facebook page last night, and I said, I'm going to start doing some stuff. So then last night before I went to bed, I thought, I'm just going to start writing in my horse riding book again. And another thing that happened is I watched a very brief video from an extremely successful international Olympic dressage rider and coach. And they were talking about how they like to take complicated exercises that appear in dressage tests the upper level dressage tests all the time, that people coming to clinics really struggle with. There's the girl. Where is she? There she is. anyway, yeah, there she is. So anyway, I listened to this and I thought, oh, good, I'm going to learn something here. But the advice they were offering, it's like, so I turned the stove on. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. And I thought, well, that kind of gets right to the crux of the matter, because if we're a beginner rider, a child beginner rider, and we're struggling with our bodies, or a rider at any age, and we're struggling to incorporate our body into the movement of the horse and keep our balance and all that kind of stuff, that's one thing. But when we've achieved a certain level of competence in terms of controlling our body on the horse, and an instructor or a coach asks us to perform a particular movement, and we aren't getting it, the typical thing is that the person on the ground just puts more pressure on us and tells us to work harder. Use more leg, use more hand, use more seat, more back, or whatever their go-to thing is. But what that does is make the rider tight and frustrated and upset and possibly angry, or they give up. Or what it does is it makes that rider so tense and so ineffective as a rider that they're just going down the wrong road. It's like getting in your car and pushing on the accelerator, putting it into gear before you start it. I mean, you're just not set up for success. But then, let's say that the rider, or riders, if it's multiple riders on one horse, has set up a situation where the horse simply is incapable of moving away from pressure, whether it's sideways or forwards, to a rider's leg aid, or it's unable to slow down when you pull on its mouth with your hands, and the coach comes up with all this highfalutin, complicated details of how to achieve the slowdown. And it doesn't work, and it's really not going to work. The wheels aren't going to go round and round, or stop going round and round. And it doesn't matter how much pressure the coach puts on or gets on and bullies the horse into it. I'm sorry, that's what happens usually. What I feel the need to do is to track backwards and find out what is the cause of the problem. Where does the breakdown in communication happen? And that's where we need to start. And there will be 2 things involved, 3 if we count the person on the ground. The person may be having a problem with themselves that they're putting onto the horse, whether it's anxiety or fear, a lack of knowledge, anger, aggression, domination, whatever. Fear, guilt, pain, and anger are the major hang-ups that people have. Yeah, I agree. So that's a contributing factor. But also, if the horse has got the go and hoe mixed up, when you put your leg, let's say the left leg, for example, you put your left leg on the side of the horse to ask it to move sideways, and the horse moves towards the leg pressure rather than away from it, then you've got a miscommunication on what that request means. So where the problem comes in, there's two problems that I see and I have had to deal with, is that when somebody like myself steps in and asks that horse to, let's say, yield sideways off pressure of the left side of their rib cage, and the horse moves into it, and you're determined that you're going to get that horse to yield away. And the more you push on that horse, the more the horse moves into you. That situation can become quite volatile. So as a trainer that can deal with that kind of thing, I would be prepared to deal with it. But now we have the owner or the leaser or the person involved with the horse, and they're jumping up and down and saying, oh, you're going to hurt the horse, or the horse is going to hurt you, and you're scaring the horse, and you got to stop. You can't do that. So now we have not just a problem that the horse has mixed communication signals about the request, but you also have the person jumping up and down and saying, you can't do that to my horse. Well, okay. The best thing for that coach, trainer, / instructor, whatever label you want to put on the person, is to read that situation before you get into it. And my thought on it, when I have that possibility arrive, is to say, I don't think I'm the right person for you, and you should go to a different coach, trainer, instructor, because they'll let the situation slide, or I'm less inclined to let a situation slide because we want progress here. I'm not getting paid to babysit you for an hour or 2 or 3, depending on the situation, and tell you that everything is great and wonderful when it isn't. So we have to be able, as a person who's the trainer and coach, I have to be able to deal with the human factor as well as the horse factor. And I think that's the first issue that every coach should address. And I just realized this is just coming up 13 minutes, and it's going to be far too long to fit on my Facebook page. Anyway, goodbye. I'll talk to you soon.